Hey everyone, it's Jane. I hope everything is going great for you. I have been in love with the Fawn Tiny gift box for a very long time, and when I saw this gift box cat add-on, I was head over heels. I had to immediately go sit down and make a bunch of cat boxes for every single one in my family. And let me show you how I did that. Some of them have feet on the side, some of them have some spots. I started out with the Fawn Tiny gift box, and I used Neenah 110-pound cardstock for everything. I used the Tiny gift box add-on to make the cat, and I disconnected everything that was interactive and kept all of the other dies intact, and I cut everything out on white cardstock. I find it a lot easier to color on white than it is to cut everything out in different colors. Here's what the die looks for the actual gift box. I ran it through my Spellbinders Platinum 6 to get a really great cut. I then folded the score lines back on themselves, and then I took my Teflon bone folder and I made sure that I got a really good impression for each single one. It's very important so that your box squares up. And the bone folder is awesome because it doesn't leave any white shiny marks, so you wouldn't even know I used it, which is the purpose of the whole thing. I then took some 1/8 inch score tape and put it on the 4 flaps. You can see how the box kind of folds in on itself. And I put a little bit on each flap, and I love this score tape because it just rips. I don't have to use scissors, which is awesome. I'm trying to pull it and get it out of the way. That particular piece kept sliding off. Who knows, maybe something was on my hands. But anyhow, I did that for all 4 sides, or 4 flaps, I should say. Peeled off the tape, and then I put the box together. And it's important when you put it together that you line up the edges. I will show you right here. We're going to line up those 2 edges. You could use liquid glue here, and it does hold well. The problem with liquid glue is you have to keep holding it, and I like to move on to the next project, the next part of my project. Sometimes I get very impatient. I get so excited, I just want to continue. Anyhow, here's our little box that has 2 little flaps that kind of go over the top to keep your goodies inside, and that closes right up. I wanted to show you that the part with a little dip in it, that is the back of the box. That is where I glued all of the tails. So as I said earlier, I cut out all of the pieces out of white cardstock. I prefer to do it that way. I can use my Copic markers to color them all up. And I also like the way you get a little bit of gradient of color with the Copics rather than just one solid color. So I take my purple tape and fold it back on itself onto my glass media mat, and I just stick all my pieces to it. Now when I was cutting out the cat face, I made sure that I held on to all those little eyes, and I'm using my Crystal Catania to pick everything up, and I'm just going to lay it all on there. There's all the cat eyes, and then I'm going to move to all the noses. There's quite a few noses. There's quite a few everything. Off camera, I cut about 7 or 8 boxes, and now I'm going to be coloring them all up. So I'm going to take my Copic marker and I'm going to color them, and you make sure that you get around the edges so the white does not show through or show around the edge, so it does look like an actual piece of cardstock. So sometimes you have to stand your marker up, as I'm doing here, and take it and put it on the outside edges. That particular eye was upside down. You can tell if they're right side up or upside down. The right side up is a little more raised than the back side. That was something I had a very hard time trying to figure out when I first started making cards. And there are my eyes and there are my noses. And as I'm doing this, I'm trying to figure out what am I going to do for each particular cat. So this black cat's going to have a left black ear and a right black eye, or not black eye, but black around his eye. And again, I'm coloring that with my Copic marker, getting it a really good coating there. And then I know the other cat's going to have a right orange ear, and then I took the eye and I turned it upside down and I colored it orange. I colored the ball of yarn in a pink. It's not my favorite pink, but it did work. And it looks really good. This is where all the fun starts, when you get to put your box together. So what I'm doing now is I'm holding the die. This is where his paws are. And you take it and you put the straight across piece, if you want to call it that, at the top, lining up the bottom. And putting a little bit of purple tape on there to hold it in place. And then I'm going to cut the stripes in the top of the cat's head. That's what the die looks like. And you notice the top of the die doesn't have any cut lines. I'm going to put that on the outside of the die cut. I'm going to turn it around and show you that that die is outside. Do you see that? It's on top of the cat's head. And that way I can get cut lines for stripes throughout the whole cat's head. And there you go. There's his stripes and there's his little interactive paws. That little half circle piece is what you put behind for the stripes. So I'm going to color that one black as well. This is my black cat and he is going to have some black stripes. These are the spots. I'm coloring 2 spots for each side. I'm putting a little pink copic markers on for the cheeks. And then I'll hit it up with 3 white gel dots, which are very hard to see what I'm doing right now. But later on in the video, when I get a close-up, you'll be able to see the white dots. So cute so far. Now I'm going to put together the cat's head, putting a little glue for the ear, a little glue for the eye. Sorry about the dings. Text messages come through. I'm sorry about that. There you go. We're coming along. We got the stripes on the top of his head. And sorry I'm so out of frame all the time. I have a little piece of purple tape in the middle of my mat to remind me, and I see the tape and I completely forget. Now I'm putting a bunch of glue on the back of the face to glue it to the front of the cat box. Liquid glue works really well here because you can hold it for a minute and you get a chance to move it around. I'm going to put the ball of string or yarn in between his paws. Maybe it's a her, I don't really know. It could be a girl. That would be fun. Everybody in our family has cats. Some of us have multiple cats. We are a cat-loving family. And I have a little white dog. We call him the cat dog. So now I'm gluing on the eyes and the nose. And I lift it up with my pokey tool. That's what I call it. And I pick it up with my Crystal Catania. And it works really, really well. And that's a Stampin' Up! Pokey tool. It's my favorite. I have about 5 of them when I used to work with Stampin' Up! Now I'm just poking the eyes. I don't care if it gets a little hole in it because I'm going to put some Nuvo Crystal Glaze on top and it will definitely hide the hole. And I'm putting the glaze on top, especially on this guy, so I want to differentiate the eye from the spot around his eye. Putting a little bit of glue on, oh, sorry about that. I had a little bit of ink on the box, so I used the Mono Sand Eraser, and that is a wonderful eraser for when you get ink on things. So I'm putting a couple little spots there of glue to put my spots on the cats. I'm not paying any particular attention to how they're going on. I'm just putting them on, and I'll put them on both sides. And then I'm going to turn that around, and you're going to see that cute little cat. I'm going to put a tail on the back. The die gives you 2 tails. It was hard to decide which tail I wanted to use. I like them both. So I mixed them up, put different tails on different cats. And there you go. There's a cute little cat box. At the end of the video, I'm going to show you what I put inside. It's one of my favorite things to do. I'm putting my Nuvo Crystal Glaze on the eyes and on the nose just to give them a little sparkle. And now I'm working on my second cat. This cat's going to have stripes at the top of him, and he's also going to have stripes at the bottom. And the way you put the dye is you put it at the bottom, as you can see, and then when you lift it up, you will have some stripes on both sides of the cat's face. And this is going to be my orange tabby cat. I'm going to color that little half circle orange, and then there's another piece I'm going to color too, which I'll show you in just a second. I colored it again out of frame. I'll get it. And I'm coloring the spots. This guy's going to have some spots as well. I sped this up just a little bit. I wish I could craft as quickly as this. So now this is the back of the cat. I'm gluing on the pieces that go behind the stripes. I'm taking that half of a circle piece and putting it on, lining it up to the top. You can see it there. And again, one of the reasons why I love Copics is you get a little bit of shading even though you only use one marker, because of the saturation. Here's the piece that I colored with the orange. I just colored the orange on both sides. And there is your striped cat. I put him together the same way. I put a little pink on the cheeks with the little white gel pen dots. I will glue him to the front of the box, and I will put his ear and his eyes on, as well as, well, I should say the circle around his eye, as well as the black eyes and the nose for the whole cat. This one is not holding anything, so I don't have to put anything in his hands. And I'm picking up that dot with the tip of my pokey tool, and it just fits right in the hole. I love, as I said earlier, I love this pokey tool. Tim Holtz has a really great one as well that I love. I just can never seem to find it. I always reach for this one because I said earlier I have so many. Normally my videos are so fast, I'm talking so fast, so I thought I'd just show you a little bit more of the video this time. Putting the spots on the side of the kitty cat, Nuvo Crystal Glaze, and I forgot to put the tail on this one, but I did come back to it later on. This cat, colored it gray. I'm putting a fish in between his paws. And there he is with his tail and his spots. And then this is the other gray cat. This particular cat is going to have feet, and he's going to hold, I made one with a red ball of yarn, I made one with a blue ball of yarn, and I'm gluing the feet to each side of the cat, just holding it down there so it doesn't move. I made two exactly the same, except they have different color balls of yarn. My kids won't care. And now I'm putting on the tail. Finishing touches the tail. I just think they're stinking cute. So now I take Hershey Nuggets, and I take this. I'm taking this Lawn Fawn paper. It is called the what's it called? Really Rainbow. And I'm cutting 3 strips at 1 inch wide, and then I'm laying them out. I'm having a math brain issue there, and I'm laying them out together, and I'm going to cut them at 3 inches. So I'm going to have 6 strips that are 1 inch by 3 inches. And I'm going to do that with 2 different pieces of paper. This is the same one, same thing, I mean. Sorry about the head, I have to get close up. Cutting them into strips. And then what I do is I put 1/4 inch tape on both sides, and I do it to all of them. And then I take my nugget and I stick it down, wrap it around tight, and then I hold it down and I press it to make it even. And what a cute way to present candy inside your box. I'm going to open up my little box with my fumbly fingers. I'm going to put 1 of each color. I have the flat side facing in. And I'll do it the same with another box. You have to make sure you get the flap down right inside there. And I will do this for all 5 of my boxes. Slippery little devils, aren't they? Fold it in. That keeps the candy inside. And here are my 5 awesome cat boxes. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoy it. I encourage you to go out and get some Lawn Fawn tiny treat boxes and make some cat box add-on. Have a great one. Bye.